For more about the splendid legacy of the Hickory Hill County Training School and the Tuskegee-Rosenwald story, Tuskegee became a destination. We landed at a place where bricks smile at you, fingerprints of builders, and passion is everywhere. Again, I was immersed and inspired by facts such as the nation's first African American planned community, organized by Land Development Strategy, and Greenwood, as it is called, which was the inspiration for Tulsa, Oklahoma's Greenwood District, Freedom Colony, and Black Wall Street. This is where gerrymandering to disenfranchise African American votes was challenged in the courts, and even its church origin story is a demonstration of the power of the vote. This history of agriculture in the South and extension services here, oh my gosh. This place is the only university in the country that is a national historic landmark. And the folks who built this great institution, who are architects of international distinction, still speak from the grave at these sacred grounds of the world-renowned Tuskegee University in Alabama. Thanks to the illustrious and industrious Dr. Kwesi Daniels, we received a first-class tour experience. Listen in.
So the building, the portion that's the lighter brown brick to our right, that's the original hospital portion. And then the portion to the left is what expanded. So John A. Kenney actually was a black doctor. He wound up being the administrator over the VA hospital, which at its time was the largest African-American VA hospital in the country and the only one African-Americans could go to in the Southeast. And this is where you'll see there's a statue out front acknowledging the role that Tuskegee played in developing a cure for infantile paralysis
and polio. Because I have friends, parents that have polio.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with polio.
We also have done work with the HeLa cell. So the door, if you keep walking up the stairs that are behind the statue, that takes you to the museum.
Yes.
Inside that, the first level are there's some artwork in there, some done by students, some done by others. And then on the second level is an exhibit to polio, the HeLa cell, and it talks about the United States Public Health Service study of untreated syphilis in the African American male in Macon County, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And so, if Miss Wilson, so take that name, Miss Wilson. You see Miss Wilson?
Yes.
In there, she would be able to give you.
Oh, Cynthia?
Yes.
Cynthia, we met her.
Oh, okay. You already know.
We already, that lady gave us a historical.
Yes.
She's a wise woman.
Yes.
She
was
brightened our
talking
day.
about Logan and the land development fund
Yes.
too, right? Yeah, I was interested in that.
She know her stuff,
Yes.
Cynthia.
So that's also the National Center for Bioethics.
Okay.
In 1997, as a result of the syphilis study, the United States government.
And was the Tuskegee experiment?
Well, so
The syphilis, yeah.
it has been called the Tuskegee experiment.
Right.
The problem is that the real Tuskegee experiment was what we know as the Tuskegee Airmen.
Okay.
So that is the actual titled Tuskegee experiment.
Okay.
Because it was an experimental project because they believed that African Americans or black
Right,
could
because
not
I'm
be
American
pilots.
Indian.
Yes.
He was here before all this.
Exactly.
So that's the government term calling us that.
Exactly.
The Africans don't agree with them, so that's another story.
And so the syphilis study is actually titled its actual title is United States Public Health Service Study of Untreated Syphilis in the African American Male in Macon County, Alabama.
But that was Macon County. Was it affiliated with Tuskegee University or Macon County?
So the Tuskegee, we had the only hospital here.
Oh, so everybody had to come here?
They came here, and so there was there was work associated with that study that was being done on campus.
Okay.
The reality is that this was not it was not unknown
Right.
to the medical field that this
Right.
is work that was happening. The problem was that the study was looking at you to autopsy, and the men didn't know that it was a study to study the long-term effects
Oh, wow.
of untreated syphilis. And that's why we now have the Center for Bioethics Research, which is all about informed consent, that you know what it is that you're getting into, so that you're not you're not participating in something.
That's going to be detrimental to your health.
Exactly.
Because those men didn't know. They didn't know that they were an experiment.
Exactly.
And when I tell people, I told a friend of mine in Florida, I said, we go to Tuskegee University. I said, don't take no shots.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing is that now, because
It has a stigma.
it has a stigma, and Tuskegee, in that original title, there is no Tuskegee in that title.
Right, right. So
And-
why do they say the
That's why I
Tuskegee
had that
experiment
question.
Because there was work that was being done here,
here?
and
Was it done here on this campus?
it was done in the community.
Okay.
But the
This was the hospital.
data that was collected
So it was
was
here.
done here at this hospital.
Right, because this was the only hospital.
Exactly.
correct? Okay.
And
it
the-
makes a lot of sense.
We do a lot of work with the descendant families,
Okay.
and they're very, very explicit that you call a thing a thing.
Yes.
So call to use the accurate name, because the person who did the work, who paid for it and was doing it, was United States Public Health Society.
Yes.
So-
Just like with the healer cells.
Exactly. So the building right there, Basil O'Connor,
Yes.
that is the School of Nursing.
Okay.
That Tuskegee's nursing program was the first in the state of Alabama. And our sacred grounds here are Dr. Washington, his family.
Oh, I've been all over that. When I left her
Tell
for
me
you,
more. Look,
I walked all through here.
tell me more. I'll be back.
No,
How's it going, brother?
Hey, brother.
This is literally the who's who
Found in the
of Tuskegee and black folks. Right here are his Dr. Washington's family, his wives. So he had 3 wives, not at the same time.
But he got married 3 times.
He got married 3 different times. And his children are here. You have the Logan family. The Logans were the treasurers for the university. And you have Cleve Abbott, who was one of the most decorated coaches in football, well, actually in college athletics history.
Right.
And folks like Alice Coachman, first African-American woman to earn a gold medal. I'm sorry, a medal
American.
in the Olympics.
First American.
She was, he was one of her coaches.
Really?
Before Venus and Serena, there were a set of twins that were tennis stars. They were here at Tuskegee.
Wow, tennis, huh?
You see the name Work.
Yes, I saw work. I saw that work.
That's Monroe Work. He and his wife did a lot of work with lynching. So if you've been to the Peace and Justice Museum in Montgomery, and the lynching memorial is the 3D representation or 3D manifestation of the two-dimensional work that Monroe Work collected. Tuskegee, up until that center was created, was the seminal source for the lynching records of African Americans between 1900 and about 1940.
So was it like, were they collecting the records and then Ida B. Wells was publishing them, or did they work collaboratively, do you know?
That's a good question. I know he
What was her question?
if they were collecting the records and Ida B. Wells was publishing. That's our new president, President Mark Brown.
Here?
Yes.
That man walked
He
in?
just
Yes.
got, just like in the last couple of months, right?
Yes.
Installed. Yeah.
Dr. Brown, how are you doing today?
Hey, Dr. Brown.
Good,
All right,
good.
Yourself? Good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day,
Yes.
guys.
Would you like a ride to the house? All right.
That's
All
right.
right.
So I'm gonna point a couple of things out. So Tuskegee, one of the things that's really powerful about our institution is that we built this campus, literally built the campus through the students and the curriculum.
Yes.
We made the bricks, they made the buildings, and the campus was designed by the first black architects in the country. So you have Robert I. Taylor, first African American graduate of MIT, first professionally trained architect in the country. You have Walter T. Bailey, Wallace Rayfield. I mean, who's. So if you follow me, I'm gonna.
Okay.
There's one thing to tell you this stuff.
Right, but to see it is
To
enough.
see it, to show it, to touch it is something else. So we tell folks that this is a very happy campus. Our buildings literally smile at you. They even blow kisses at you. And the DNA of those who come before us are literally embedded in it.
Yes, they are.
That's
So we say that they smile at you because these marks right here, these are all handmade bricks. And students made these bricks. And these marks right here are called smile marks. These come from putting the clay into the mold, and when you push it down, it would create this crease.
Oh, wow.
We say they blow kisses at you because this discoloration comes from bricks being laid up perpendicular
Yeah, right.
to one another, and where they were touching, that created this discoloration, and so this is called a kiss mark.
Oh, wow.
And then we say that the DNA is literally embedded in the buildings because it is. We have fingerprints from the original students.
I got my kids.
Oh,
We have the DNA.
yes.
These are the fingerprints of the students that were here.
That is so awesome.
I just picked up all their DNA when I kissed this
Yes.
brick. Thank you, ancestors.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So this is Dorothy Hall, the building right, the level right above here, these windows here. This is where Dr. Carver lived when he was here at Tuskegee in his latter years.
No.
And you do know. So what we'll do is we'll come back, and I'll show you where Dr. Washington and Dr. Carver are buried as well.
Okay. Wow.
So Tuskegee was historically organized by the girls and the boys' trades. So the boys did in the so this was a trade school. Initially started as a teaching college, and then Dr. Washington incorporated the industrial trades, modeling the work of Lewis Adams, who was the founder of the school. Dr. Washington was the founding principal, but Lewis Adams, when we talk about the power of the vote, if we want to understand the power of the vote, Tuskegee is a perfect example, because the person who was running for for senator at the time wanted to maintain the black vote or retain the black vote. He was afraid that black people were going to be going over to the Democratic Party, and so he asked Lewis Adams to help him secure the vote. And Lewis Adams said, "I will do that if you get us a school." And so you know who won that election.
Right. Because he got the school.
We got the school, and we can see that it's still here. So I'm going to show you the original. I'll show you where we got started, so you can see how we've grown. This area here, this is the valley. I said that we made all the bricks.
Yes.
So this is where all the dirt came from to make the bricks.
Wow.
So you can tell how much dirt was extracted by looking at where the crest of the hill is here, and you follow it all the way around, all the way down there. That all of this would have been flat land, but it was dug out over time to create all these bricks that you see. And this entire campus, this is our historic, the historic heart of the campus. All these buildings were designed by black architects, built by students. You have Carnegie Hall, designed by Robert R. Taylor, named after Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie gave the money and stated that this was one of the best buildings to bear his name in the world, one of the top 5. We have Whitehall here, designed by Walter T. Bailey, first African American graduate of the architecture program at University of Illinois. This entire campus, what you're looking at this is our campus avenue, and this quad and another one that I'll show you. This is all laid out by Mr. David Williston, who was the first African American landscape architect in the country.
Is that right?
Yes. old administration building. This is where so Tuskegee has 3 zip codes. It's named an old administration building because this is where Booker T. Washington's office was. This is where the bank was. This is where the post office was. We got 3 zip codes: 36083, 86, and 88. The original was 83. Dr. Washington was going around raising money, and he'd come back home, and his mail was pretty light. Yeah, like there's supposed to be some other stuff up in here. Well, they were stealing the money, and so he told them that he petitioned the Postmaster General to give us another zip code, and that's what we got, 36086.
Oh.
And then when Tuskegee Institute created the Greenwood Village, you've heard of Tulsa, right?
Yes.
Well, the moniker Black Wall Street was actually given to it by Booker T. Washington. At the time, he called it Negro Wall Street.
That's what we were.
That's what we were.
Negro, colored.
Yes. And when he
Names keep changing.
was presenting, he was discussing a space called Greenwood Village, which was this all black, first planned black community in the country that was happening, that Dr. Washington was building on the outskirts of Tuskegee Institute for faculty, staff, and alums, and anybody else interested in a good quality education and a place with good moral value. The men and women in the community Tulsa heard about it and said they wanted to create one, went out immediately, bought some land, and they called theirs Greenwood. And that's where the Greenwood District of Tulsa.
Really? Wow.
This is the oldest building on campus. It was the former blacksmith shop. When I was a student, this was the band cottage, and it is currently the ROTC building for the Department of the Navy.
Neat. And the oldest building on campus.
Yes. Oldest building constructed by students. Yes. Because we do have the building where the president stays is an old antebellum home that would have been built by us, but we were enslaved at that time.
Prisoners of war.
Yes, 100%.
Prisoners of war.
100%. So this wall right here was designed by Mr. Edward Price. He was the second landscape architect for the university and the first licensed landscape architect in the state of Alabama.
I like this one.
It's beautiful.
This is called a serpentine wall. You'll find this all over UVA's campus. The significance of these walls, they go back into antiquity. These walls are freestanding walls that are 1 brick layer thick. And he built this to prove to his students that black students could do the same thing. The building on our right, Sage Hall. The building on our left, Thrasher Hall. Thrasher Hall is the first building that Robert R. Taylor designed and had constructed on campus. 1895, he comes in 1893. Sage Hall is one of his last. And it was done with him and William Sidney Pittman. No, not Pittman. The architect that he did with, will come back to me. But they formed an architecture firm and actually wanted to be in the first architecture firm formed by African Americans in this country. First partnership. The Burnt Place.
Armstrong.
This is where Tuskegee got started. Or sorry, rephrase. Tuskegee got started in down the road at a church, an AME church, Bethel AME. About 6 months later, Booker T. Washington purchases 100 acres of land for $500. This was originally the Bowen Plantation. And it was one of the plantations that when the Union Army came through the South, they were burning all of the plantations. This is one of the plantations that got burned. Washington, the relationship between Tuskegee Institute and Hampton Institute is very strong. Dr. Washington borrowed $250 from Samuel Armstrong to purchase the land. The other $250 came from residents in the community, both black and white, to help him purchase the land. And they paid off that debt pretty quickly. I want to say within 6 months.
And Armstrong was Booker's mentor, so to speak. I went to Armstrong High in Richmond.
Yes.
It's the oldest high school in the nation. One of the hottest. It's named after him.
Across the way, we have our, Logan Hall. This quad here, this was also designed by David Williston. Malcolm X has spoken in Logan Hall. Martin Luther King Jr. used to walk this avenue when he would come to campus and go to meet with the presidents inside the old administration building.
So talk about the new construction going on.
So this building here. There was some water leakage that they've been fixing and solving, and that's what you see happening with Tompkins Hall. And then on the other side, we have two residence halls. Olivia Davidson, which is named after Dr. Washington's second wife, and Lewis Adams Hall, which is named after our founder. And both of those are currently under renovation, scheduled to be completed in the next couple of weeks for students.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have George Washington Carver Museum that's currently under renovation. And that building and the Oaks are owned by the Park Service. Tuskegee University is the only college campus in the country that's a National Historic Site and landmark.
Really?
And so we have a Park Service office. You can actually take a tour of the Oaks. That was built in 1898 by students and faculty for the Washington family. And the Tuskegee Airmen Museum at Moulton Field, both of those you can tour while you're here. Under that tarp is a bust of Dr. George Washington Carver, done by Isaac Scott Hathaway, who was a sculptor. And he decided to do busts of African American heroes because everywhere he looked, he would see white people having busts, and he wouldn't see any of us. And so he decided to bust of us.
Wow.
The statue you're looking at, the Lifting the Veil of Ignorance monument, is dedicated to Dr. Washington and the work that he did around lifting the veil of ignorance, not from us, but from larger society's view of us. It demonstrates his educational philosophy of educating the head, the hand, and the heart, which was the philosophy he picked from Samuel Armstrong at Hampton Institute, and learning to do by doing, which was the philosophy he used to construct. The young man is sitting, which demonstrates the education of the hand. There's a book in his hand, which demonstrates the education of the head, and the hand being outstretched demonstrates the education of the heart, which I interpret that hand being outstretched to mean two things. One, pride, meaning look at all that you've done. When you put pride into your work, this is what it looks like. And then two, that work that you do, you give out to the community. We don't do this work here for ourselves, we do it for the community at large. And that's how Tuskegee was created. And as we round out the tour, we'll round out. So this is Dr. Washington's final resting place. When he was laid to rest here, this was the highest point on campus. And so they laid him here so that he could oversee the continued development of the campus. And then Dr. Carver is laid to rest here. And he's laid to rest with a seat because he used to love talking to his students.
Sat on that seat.
And this was done so that he could continue to talk to his students.
Wow.
There's a picture of him right there. Somebody put his shirt there. And then over here, he has change. People have coins.
Yes.
They left coins there for him.
And if you go inside the chapel, this chapel was designed by Fry and Welch and Paul Rudolph.
This chapel here?
Yes. If you go inside, let me back up a little.
This chapel is built very interesting. You
Yes.
see the way the bricks go out or make like an angle at the top there.
On the
That's
sides.
very, I like that. I like how the walls are.
This was designed by two black architects, Fry and Welch. Paul Rudolph was an Auburn graduate, and when they designed it because the belief was that a building designed with no right angles would never be struck by lightning.
So
That's the story.
that's the story from the architect himself.
Now, I don't know how true it is, but it's still
it makes
here.
a lot of sense.
Yes.
And it hasn't been struck by lightning.
Yes.
That part.
Wow.
The monument above it, the tablet, states that all religions are welcome. This tablet was created by Mr. Edward Price, the first, as I mentioned, first licensed landscape architect in the state of Alabama. He was a Tuskegee alum and the second landscape architect for the campus.
This is a beautiful
I see eyes. I see
And he did
pyramids.
the landscaping for the building.
You
Wow.
did a great job.
Yes.
You really did.
The symbols. Wow.
You did an amazing job.
This
Look at a
looks
little
like an
coolness.
Egyptian.
Oh, yes. Ooh, it's like a refrigerator.
Got Egyptian symbols on there.
Yes. So what happened is he went over to Egypt and his artwork transformed when he went over to the continent. So on this wall are all of the past chaplains of the chapel, ending with Dr. Gregory Gray. And this monument here is the male-female effigy that was donated to Tuskegee by the country of Madagascar. It symbolizes the balance between male and female energy that has always been a part of our campus. We've been a coeducational campus since we were created, and that symbolizes that.
Nice. Wow.
On this wall are all of our first wives and first gentlemen of Tuskegee. Dr. Lily McNair, who was the president 2 presidents ago. She was the first official female president of Tuskegee.
This one.
To the right. So these are the first wives and the first gentlemen. So his wife was Dr. Lily McNair. She was the first official female president of the university.
I see.
The next 3 were here for short term, so there wasn't a lot that they were able to do during their time here. Dr. Payton changed us from Tuskegee Institute to Tuskegee University. Dr. Foster developed our School of Engineering. Dr. Patterson developed our School of Veterinary Medicine, of which we are the #1 producer of African American veterinarians in the country.
Wow.
Dr. Patterson also married Dr. Moten's daughter. And so Dr. Moten, second president of the university, responsible for the VA hospital. And under Dr. Patterson, the United Negro College Fund was created.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
And then the next 3 were Dr. Washington's wives. Margaret Mary Washington was a major proponent of the women's suffrage movement. Olivia Davidson Washington was responsible for the connecting Dr. Washington to all of the Northeastern philanthropists. And Fannie Norton Smith Washington, she followed Dr. Washington from Hampton and helped him start Tuskegee.
Wow. There's such beautiful respect.
And we know, since y'all from New York, you all know about the Apollo.
The Apollo. That's
So,
Of course, I had a shot for 17 years from the world famous Apollo Theater. Harlem-born girl.
so there's the stump at the Apollo.
Yes.
Well, this is our stump here at Tuskegee.
Yes, I love that.
So this is the brick that came from the chimney at Dr. Booker T. Washington's childhood home.
Oh, that's so freaking dope. That is dope. See?
wow.
I love that.
I don't know if rubbing it will get you luck, but hey, it gets you connected. The men here are all of our past chaplain, choir directors, ending with Dr. Wayne Farr, who's our current choir director.
Okay.
Nice. Ooh. This is so beautiful.
Church is
I can't wait to come to church again.
This is our St. Patrick's Hills.
Who did this?
I don't recall the artist of this one. entire span, our original chapel. Our original chapel, I'll show you that image when you go out.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was designed by Robert R. Taylor. It was considered his masterpiece. He actually passed away in that chapel. So his spirit literally continues to live on.
Yes.
So all the way, his body is not laid to rest in our sacred space. His spirit is still here.
Absolutely.
He, these are charter marks from the original chapel, so from the fire. So portions of as much of it that can be salvaged was.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And what this speaks about is the history of Tuskegee and our people. So our people, we went from enslavement through the toils of life. You can see that we needed one another to hold ourselves up, but we were infirmed, we were hurt, we're trying to climb the stairs of life. Then we have a gentleman here. His skin tone is not is grayed out. He's last leg. The ripples of life are turned up.
By the borders.
And intertwined throughout here are the 13 Negro spirituals that Dr. Washington enjoyed the most. So then we get the men in the middle who are praying for a savior. They're under the arbor bush, praying that somebody will come to help change the reality of their experience. And in the middle is Dr. Washington or Jesus Christ. All depends on how you look at it.
Right.
I say Booker T. Washington, and as somebody said, Howard sainted therefore, so I'm saying it's Saint Washington.
I'm saying it too.
Given the impact that he had on our
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
And so when Dr. Washington came, he brought education, and with education we were able to change the lives of the men and women. That's beautiful. And then you can see the young man here. He's no longer in poor health, and the waves of life are no longer up. He's ascending. We're ascending up the stairs holding hands. We're not struggling to climb.
Right.
And it symbolizes the role that Dr. Washington played, not only in his own life, but for all of us.
In eternity.
And so I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to walk around the sanctuary. Feel free to, there's a meditative space all the way in the back, and just feel free to take pictures. It's a beautiful